Spoutnique is a mysterious alt-disco outfit from Edmundston, New Brunswick that delivers a highly energetic live show with hypnotic grooves and spacey sounds. Fusing deep house with post-punk and electronic undertones, their music transports you through a musical landscape reminiscent of 70s disco with a modern twist. Straddling the gap between the worlds of Anglophone and Francophone music, they have wowed audiences throughout Canada and Europe. Regardless of language, they weave a musical path that has something for everyone to love. Follow us through this behind-the-scenes look at how they put all these pieces together as we go into the studio.
Vacation spot.
That's definitely the most interesting ukulele setup I think I've ever seen.
Check two. 1, 2. My name is Paul Burgoyne, and I'm a singer-songwriter, producer for the band Spoutnique. I learned to play bass at like 14, I guess. Beatboxing while playing Zelda, I think, still counts. It's just different connections. You just... And then you're like, oh, it's the same thing, you know? I remember as a kid, I used to like long for melodies. At night, while my parents were sleeping, I'd have like a boombox. I'd put it at 0.01 volume, listen to club music, like old 90s house. Calling Mr. Fan, like those 90s jams. I would love that so much. The melodies, the synthesizers, and all that.
My name's Dan. In Spoutnique, I play guitar and do back vocals. Yeah, Paul and I just started working on this album a while ago. We drank too much absinthe and played with a synth, and then we're like, hey, let's start a band, man. So that's pretty much how that started.
My name is Jason, and I play synths. I was touring with Paul, and he made me listen to a bunch of his songs that he kind of did demos of. And he was like, oh, what do you think about that? I was like, man, just do something with it. Like, it's time to do it.
We booked our first show before we had even rehearsed anything. So we had started working on some recordings, but once we got into the studio, it started getting much more refined. What I like to do is on the creative side is play around with tones and sounds and delays and effects and come up with stuff that's going to fill the background or add an extra little spice to whatever's going on.
It took me a long time to be like, okay, I need to be able to do this on my own because I can't just rely on people to help me make music when it's like 3 in the morning and I have an idea. If I have a musical intent, like maybe a melody or a beat, I draw it kind of in a MIDI thing and then go through a bunch of instruments. Like, what is it? Is it a trumpet? Is it a flute? Is it a synthesizer? I do this for a couple of hours and then I'm like, oh, it sounds super cool with this sound, so maybe it's a mellotron part. I don't know. So I just explore with sound.
Suis-je venu jusqu'à... We'll time it up, puis on va faire un... And then go into an instrumental part, I guess.
Je sais pas pourquoi, mais je pensais que c'était fini.
Yeah? It's usually done. Ouais.
Ah, là, on jam?
Ouais,
Ok.
ouais, on va la faire de même, right?
Okay, let a guy know.
Let a brother know.
Is it something we should just listen to, then confirm that we're
And then
fine before
kinda-
trying
yeah,
to work
yeah.
on it? If the end part is good, I don't think we need to redo it. Là.
Pas dans la. C'est vraiment dans le. Dans fin.
Just trying to figure out where we need to cut in on that.
Builds well.
Well, let's do it as it is, and then you guys can see what we think.
I think recording music is still important. Doing records is still important because there's nothing like opening up an album and smelling the booklet and like it's different. You'll always remember those first albums that you got, that you open it and you have everything there and you have it the way that the artist wanted you to have it. You see it. It's like a part of the artist.
The artists will always have a need to record. You have to have a way to be able to put what you're writing, what you're coming up with. You know, the artists that are actually like they can't live without expressing themselves and putting down their feelings on paper. You'll always have a need for that. I think we listen to less and less albums, though. That's the problem. A lot of people just release singles.
We live in an elbow, you know. It's like the one who figures out how it's gonna work in 10 years today has the upper hand, I think. You just have to think outside the box all the time because there's nothing left in that box, really. We are competing against all the great music of the past and all the music that keeps coming out all the time. So yeah, at the same time you have Lil Nas X, and then you have Fleetwood Mac came back on the chart just because some guy was riding on his skateboard drinking cranberry juice. So like you can't be thinking of like, oh yeah, I'm gonna put out a record and then I'm gonna promote the record and then I'm gonna make some money. No, it's not. It's never again going to be that, I think.
C'est bien qu'on va passer d'un plugin avec un petit peu de saturation.
Exactement.
Bruce continue à jouer du drum.
So,
Oh, that was great. That was
I don't know how you feel about this take, but I think those
It's
two
solid.
pieces, yeah, it works.
yeah, they edit together perfectly. I think it just fixes.
Yep.
Just fixes and overdubs. If you guys are happy, I'm super happy.
It grooves, man.
Being a French artist in New Brunswick is fun because it's basically being a bigger fish in a small pond. You know what I mean? Back in the day, you know, you had to go to Montreal. You had to go to the bigger cities. But now we got everything that, let's say, Montreal, Quebec has and Europe has, but a little bit smaller, a little bit more contained.
We've done showcases for the industry where we've seen like a Festival 506 or a Francofête on the French side. But we've met so many people from the industry in New Brunswick and made a lot of friends with other bands. English or French, it doesn't really matter. You know, we can get along with anybody. So it's a lot of fun.
Our accent is kind of different. Like when we speak in French, we don't speak the Quebec French or the France French. And back in the day, like it would be a big barrier. We would always try to speak better so they would understand us. Now you go to France and they all understand us. You go to Quebec, we don't have to say, oh, this means this and this means that. It's getting easier and easier for us to kind of stay the way we are as artists and not try to give them like a diluted version of our accent. You know?
This next part would be clean.
this next part would be yeah.
Puis,
And then the rest, yeah, the gnarly jam with the.
so you want to rejam it?
Yeah, I would like to start on a and then that crazy thing I did earlier. Well, that crazy, just the trail that sounded super gnarly. I could do a better one.
Sure. Are you ready?
Yes.
Suis-je venu jusqu'à...
Il est bépamé.
C'est tout.
I'm a musician.
I make sounds.
Je suis un artiste.
I don't play an instrument.
I started writing songs in English, but over time, sometimes I'd have some French bits because I speak French. It's like writing with your other hand, really. I speak French all day, but then like, how do I write a song in French? It's scary because I think that me writing in English, it's like I'm hiding. You get to paint different kinds of pictures, but in French, it's more like an open book, so I tend to want to hide things in the fog more.
I'd rather use the term bilingual than either French or English, because it's not an English or an Anglophone or a French Francophone project. It's just we're all bilingual, and even when we talk with each other, we'll switch from English to French depending on what comes out easier, you know.
We don't really want to say like, oh, we're an English band, we're a French band. We're a band that does music, and whatever serves the music better, either French or English, it's always for the music. It's like doing a painting. Like, what colors do you use? Well, it depends on what you want to do. For us, language is just a color. It's just another medium. It's just another instrument in the whole that crayon box that we have to make music. Maybe the next album will be in Spanish. I don't know. We'll see.
My whole goal the way I approach music is you know, sometimes when music really moves you, it's just me trying to create something that could potentially make someone feel the way certain songs make me feel.
Le destin s'annonce fâcheux. Changer l'écran ordinateur. Signe d'encre sur la page. Venu me joindre à l'équipage.